If you're ambitious but introverted, you might feel like your technical skills should be enough to succeed. But here's the truth. Your talent alone doesn't open up doors. Relationships do. And if you struggle to interact with people, you're capping your potential. That's why today, I'll give you a proven plan to develop your social confidence without having to be someone that you're not. This is the exact same advice that I've given to all my past clients who are mostly engineers. But first, let me ask you a question. Do people seem bored whenever you share something? In your head, you think what you're talking about seems interesting. But for some reason, people don't seem to resonate with it. For me to explain this to you, imagine traveling to a foreign country like Japan. You're excited to explore, so you look for the nearest train station. So you walk up to a local and ask for direction in English. They smile and nod politely. But you can tell that they have no clue what you're saying. So you pull out your phone and use Google Translate. As a result, both of you are finally able to understand each other. You see, the same thing happens in your day-to-day interactions. If you can't express yourself effectively, you'll struggle to build rapport with others. In fact, one of my clients had the exact same issue, so let me tell you how we fixed it. He's a software engineer, and he's in his late 20s. Because he hasn't gone out in a while, he's really struggling to connect with people. And when we started working together, I quickly realized what the issue was. He's just really hard to talk to. Because he didn't know any better, he would use a lot of technical terms whenever he would speak. It's no surprise that not many people understood what he was saying. So I told him to simplify his language. Use more analogies and metaphors to explain anything complicated. And when he did, he noticed a big difference. Because he clarified his communication, he became more relatable to others. As a result, he had an easier time forming a connection, and people enjoyed his company more. So before you say anything, really think about your audience. Put yourself in their situation and tailor your message in a way that would make sense to them. By doing so, your conversations will feel effortless and you'll come across as a compelling communicator. To help you out, I made a free cheat sheet that will show you how to approach and talk to anybody. Get your free copy in the description below. But without this next point, you'll still struggle to put yourself out there. Meeting people will seem like such a hassle and you'll keep putting it off. But what if I told you there's a much easier way to create quality connections? And you can do it in a way that's fun and doesn't drain you. For this to make sense, let's pretend you have to take the train to work. And because it's a 30-minute commute, you decide to listen to audiobooks and podcasts. That way, you get to learn something new and you get to make the most out of your downtime. The same thing goes when it comes to socializing. Instead of treating it like this one extra thing, just combine it with something that you already do. Let's take one of my clients as an example. He's a software engineer, and he loves photography. He came to me for help because he has no social life, and he's tired of feeling lonely. So when we started working together, here's one of the things that I told him to do. Instead of editing his pictures at home, he should take his laptop to a trendy coffee shop. That way, he has an opportunity to socialize with others if he wanted to. I also encourage him to join meetup groups around photography. That way, he can meet other like-minded people while doing something that he enjoys. And when he did those things, his social life dramatically improved. And the best part, he was able to put himself out there in a way that's sustainable for him. As you can see, you don't need to go to busy nightclubs or high-pressure networking events to make connections. Instead, just think of one thing that you already do and find a way to do it with other people. By doing so, you get to socialize in a way that fits your personality. Not to mention, you get to meet like-minded individuals much faster as well. You get to skip all the surface-level stuff because you're around people who are into the same things as you. By the way, if you're tired of getting overlooked and you want to learn how to build quality relationships, I'd love to connect with you. Book your free consultation by clicking the link below. But without this next point, you'll often feel excluded, especially in large groups. Like you're physically there, but barely anyone notices you. As a result, you just fade into the background, which makes you feel unimportant. If that's happened to you before, maybe the problem isn't just in what you say, but how you say it as well. For this to make sense, imagine tuning into a radio station, but the signal is weak. You can kind of hear what's being broadcasted, but it's really fuzzy. There's static, the volume cuts in and out, and you miss half the words. As a result, you just check out and you change the station. You see, that's exactly what happens in group conversations. You might have something funny, smart, or interesting to say. But if you're mumbling, speaking softly, and avoid making eye contact, people will just ignore you. In fact, my client who's a data scientist had the same problem. He told me that whenever he would try to speak up, nobody really reacts. It's like he's not even there. That's why during the coaching program, we really worked on his delivery. I helped him improve his body language and his vocal tonality. As a result, more people listened to him spoke at his next group hangout. You see, that's what can happen when you amplify your presence. And if you want similar results, pay attention to your nonverbal communication, especially in large groups. Stand or sit up straight and avoid crossing your arms. Speak from your stomach instead of your chest so you can project your voice better. And when you do these things, you'll come across as more confident in any group setting. As a result, you'll become more memorable to others instead of just fading into the background. You'll have a much stronger presence and you'll stand out in a good way. Now, this next thing we're going to discuss is absolutely crucial. To show you what I mean, let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed how some people have their life on easy mode? Like, they get job referrals out of nowhere. They move to a new city and they have a support network right away. And even when things get challenging, they always have people checking in on them. Now, you might be wondering how they're able to do that. Well, it's not because they're extroverted or super lucky. It's because they do this one thing on a consistent basis. For this to make sense, think of it like buying insurance. It's not fun to pay and sometimes it can feel like a waste of money. But the moment something goes wrong, you're really glad to have it. And if you wait until you get into an accident to sign up, it's already too late. You're stuck with the consequences and wish you would have been more proactive. You see, relationships work the exact same way. Don't wait until you're jobless, lonely, or in a tough spot to reach out to people. You need to nurture your connections long before you ever need anything. Let's take one of my clients as an example. He's a software engineer who tends to be quiet and reserved. And for the longest time, he just focused on his work. He also just stayed in and played a lot of video games. But then, when the weekend rolls around, he doesn't have anyone to make plans with. Going through tough times was even more difficult because he didn't have anyone to lean on. So, when we started working together, I gave him this one simple challenge. Once a day, either talk to someone new or reach out to someone he already knows. Just say hello, check in, or send them something you thought would be useful. And even though he felt awkward and hesitant at first, he did it anyway. And to his surprise, most people were pretty open to chatting with him. His friends were glad that he reached out to them as well. And because he put in the effort to network and nurture his relationships, he always has people that he can reach out to. He also gets regular invites from others, which makes him feel more connected. And all this happened because he made time to start conversations and send casual messages. So, here's the takeaway from all of this. If you want to live a more fulfilling life, you need to invest in your relationships. And start doing it now before you even need anything. Because when difficult times come, and trust me, they will, you'll have a social circle who's got your back. So again, dig your well before you're thirsty. But without this next point, socializing with others will become harder than it has to be. For me to explain this to you, I want you to think of someone that you've met and there's just something special about them. They walk into a room and people just naturally want to talk to them. And it's not because they're loud or flashy. It's because they give off good energy. You see, there is a way to build that kind of magnetism even if you're shy, awkward, or introverted. So in this case, I want you to think of your phone or laptop. You know how every now and then you get a notification saying that there's a software update available? Sure, you can ignore it for a while, but eventually, the apps don't work as well and everything just slows down. But when you finally update it, you have access to more features and things just work better. You see, that's what personal growth is like. If you don't level up, you're going to remain stuck and you're not going to reach your full potential. But when you work on yourself, even just a little at a time, every aspect of your life gets better. Let's take my other client as an example. He's an electrical engineer and he's doing okay at work, but he's been single for so long and doesn't really have any friends. So when we started working together, I got him to define what his ideal social life would look like. And then I asked him what kind of person he needed to become in order to achieve that. That's when he started improving his mindset, personal style, and conversation skills. He joined a gym, got new hobbies, and started going out more. And then only after a few months, he saw significant changes. People were noticing him more, and his interactions were much smoother. He also started building a social circle with people that he enjoys hanging out with. So here's the deal. If you want to become more socially magnetic, you can't get too comfortable. You have to keep pushing yourself and step outside of your comfort zone. And when you do, you'll become a high-value person. As a result, you'll naturally attract quality relationships, and more opportunities will come your way. But there's something very important that we didn't talk about today. If you want to connect with more people, you have to be able to hold a conversation. If not, then you'll just have awkward lulls and you'll make others feel uncomfortable. To make sure that doesn't happen to you, watch this next video. That's where I give you more actionable tips to never run out of things to say. By the end of it, you'll become a lot more talkative, so make sure you check it out.